Today we have an exciting one coming on. So we have Iagon on today. So Iagon is a Cardano project, one of the top projects on Cardano, I would even say. What happened last week? They suffered a significant attack on their infrastructure and their project, a DDoS attack. So they wanted to bring down their platform. And I contacted them to see if they wanted to share their story, to share with the community what happened. And luckily, they liked our ideas. So we have the CEO and the CTO coming on today. Welcome, guys. How are you doing? Hey, welcome.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah,
Hello,
of
everybody.
course. Hey. So yeah, it's been an exciting week for you guys, I guess.
Yes, definitely a lot of let's say action happened this week for sure. So a lot of
Yeah,
up and down excitement and all over the place.
yeah, a
And a
lot
few
is going
sleepless
on.
nights.
Yeah, at least one.
Definitely. Hey, Peyton, what's up? Wait, let me get you up here. There we go. Good morning, Peyton.
Good morning. Good morning. Happy to have all of you here. Good to see you, Holger. Good to see you, Stephen, and good to see you, Dr. Navjeet. Or Navjeet.
Hey, Peyton, how are you
Nice to
doing?
meet you again.
Doing good. Nice to see both of you. So the devices that you guys are selling, that period just closed, right? Yesterday, if I'm correct.
Yeah, it closed yesterday around midnight PST Pacific time. So we sold out 300 units. So it's a great win, I think, and they'll be shipping out in March.
Congratulations. It kind of reminds me of like the early SPO days, when Cardano was first getting up and running. There was somebody that was making these little rock pies for people to, run Cardano nodes. Do you remember those way back then, Holger?
Yeah, of course, yeah. But this was where you can't even run it on these devices. That is the key point here, I think.
Yeah, nowadays you definitely
That
can't run it.
changed a bit.
Well,
Yeah.
let's kind of start. I kind of want to do an introduction for people. I think people right now are always trying to find, new great projects that are building on Cardano, and having a device that people can have in their house, I think, is a unique touch point that I think resonates, with people really well. So, this Cyclone, this device, what is it? What can people do with it, and how does it contribute to the overall network?
Yeah, sure. We'll give a little intro on, what Iagon is first, and then the reason why we went after this hardware thingy, as Charles likes to call it, is first we're basically a distributed storage and compute platform, and which allows basically matches up idle capacity with users that need it, kind of like an Airbnb for storage and compute, if you will. You can customize, users can customize where they want to allocate their data or the compute tasks in terms of geolocation, performance wise, availability. So depending on the reputation of the nodes or the resource providers, so you'll hear different terms like nodes, resource providers. They all mean the same thing. The people that provide the idle capacities, we just match them up with them accordingly, depending on the service that they require. And sometimes we've built out compatibility for these software to run on. You can also run it on your hardware at home, but sometimes it's very cumbersome for let's say the retail investors or the consumers that are looking to participate but don't know the tech side or tech savvy. So we got a lot of requests early on to make it simple and easy to use, and that's one of the reasons why we looked at Cyclone or building a retail consumer device that's easy to use. A couple of couple clicks, and you install it, and you're ready to go and stake IG tokens and provide idle capacity to the network. So that was one of the reasons, and we also want to and cater to the decentralization or distribution of the network as much as possible. When you're catering to these technical devices, let's say the software that you download, like right now, you can download different types of software. For example, it's compatible with Linux, Windows, Mac, and then CLI. So we have all these different code-based synology to cater to as much distribution and decentralized as possible. But then you're missing out on the non-tech savvy people, which is the majority of the consumers, and we want to distribute this network as much as possible, decentralize it. And that's why these devices were built in an optimal way to have enough performance and enough bandwidth. Obviously, bandwidth depends on the user, but obviously we have minimum factors there as well. But that's short, I guess, to put it short, that's why we came up with this idea of the cyclone.
I personally think it's a great idea. There's a lot of new people coming into crypto right now, and we have these seasons, and to me, the season right now is opportunity. I have a bunch of new people that are coming into crypto and looking for opportunity, and it's complicated to set up a computer that's running in Linux and then set up a software on top of it, and the average user just wants something that's plug and play. Something that they can, put some money into and, run this, plug and play essentially. So that's a great idea there. Yeah. I saw your mic unmuted for a second.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I agree. Plug and play, easy to use is what they're after.
And a little
Awesome.
teaser, maybe.
Oh, go ahead.
After the first round, where we obviously sold out the home user edition, so to say, we are planning to also go for mid-range business to business and enterprise level grade stuff. So I mean, obviously, even the home user can use that if he wants, but just if you're wondering, like, if this storage space is not enough for you, we have something coming later on.
Awesome.
Excellent.
Yep.
So before we continue, make sure you tweet out this X Space so we get a nice crowd going. Share it out so everyone knows that's ongoing. Sorry, Peyton, I interrupted you.
No worries. I just wanted to hear kind of more about this, this enterprise grade node that was just hinted at there. I mean, what kind of price point are we looking at with this one? And, what's the, expected date that people can start putting in pre-orders for this enterprise level?
No, we are not there yet. So it's just teasing you that it is on the roadmap, so I cannot give you any prices now.
Okay.
But
Yeah, so what we're planning with the other device, or the mid-tier device, is GPU as well. So we'll cater to different kinds of network as well, different capabilities as well. The current Cyclone can also run a Cardano node, and also it's basically going to be Cardano node. It can also run a Midnight and all these other plugins that will be installed on the compute marketplace. So there's different variables that you can cater to. Also, if you don't like running a Iagon node at a future time, this can be an at-home NAS device as well, a mini PC, if you will. We're not vendor locking it any way. It's customizable, meaning that you have say in what your device does.
Awesome. Yeah, I think that's a really good starting point. Just like people imagining a device in their house that's contributing to this network, or one day could even just be used as a PC. But I want to kind of transition to where did you guys get started? How did Iagon come to be? Where did this idea come from, and how long have you guys been working on it? And kind of tell us a little bit more about the moments leading up till today.
Sure. I mean, so we've been building out this product since 2017. We have the idea originated in a long ways away. I'm from the healthcare sector, so patient data privacy, and security was very important for me at that time. And I stumbled upon the Bitcoin paper in 2013, and it got me intrigued into blockchain technology. And sooner. I just basically wanted to imply that in my industry, in the healthcare industry, and later it molded into a much broader idea with some experts that joined, and the co-founding team being Dr. Rohit Gupta, Dr. Alad Harrison, and Dr. Claudia Lima. They have different skill sets, different, let's say, fields that they work in to mold the idea into what it was today, which became a kind of generic distributed cloud service. We actually went with the different directions because we saw a lot of copycats within the space, even though the space was a lot about, Web3 was a lot about open source, and it still is to this day. I think there's a lot of open source community out, especially in Cardano. It's a big community. And I think that we went a little bit against the grain there because we wanted to protect the idea and the time and the money that we invested. So we went after a patent in 2018. We filed a patent and it was granted. It's worldwide recognized right now in many jurisdictions, especially the main ones, would say. And what that revolves around and what the uniqueness of Iagon is basically smart autonomous marketplace. What that means is it learns the behavior of the node operators in different variables like performance, availability, trustability, different metrics like location. This allows us to also cater to enterprise clients and be compliant by nature in terms of the architecture. So it gives us a head start on the competitors and lets us build in a pace that we're comfortable with. Of course, there's been ups and downs. We started in Ethereum in 2018. So we started with Ethereum. Obviously, Ethereum was much more mature at that time than Cardano and had smart contract capabilities, and that was kind of the main chain to go to, I guess, at that time. So we didn't think about too much in terms of how that would affect the business model at that time, and obviously we had to pivot later on because the gas fees were extraordinary and it didn't really apply to the business model that we were working on. Also, there's a lot of issues with security, on-chain and token security, and account-based model. It wasn't working for us, and basically we migrated to Cardano in 2021. Made the decision of going there, mostly because we obviously wanted to cater to the business model, because subscription costs right now, you can pay as low as $24 a year for 1 terabyte of data. Which is very on the low cost side. And if you had that on Ethereum at that time, you're paying extraordinary gas fees, and it made the business model unattainable. Also, for the token side, I think that it was important to have some security, and Cardano is recognized as one of, if not the most decentralized blockchain out there. And that was also important to us to have a layer 1 that's very secure, because the access layer of the data is on chain. So meaning that you and you alone have access to your data, and no one else can see the data, and only you can spread out where the data goes, and how to recombine the data is all up to you. So that was important for us in terms of making sure that the model works. And obviously we believe we made the right decision. Looking back at it, obviously you can look back and see, hey, we made the right decision, and we believed at that time, and now we can confidently say that we made the right decision because Ethereum's working backwards now, right? They're working towards what Cardano has already built. And now we've had a lot of interest. We've been very clear with our business model and how it operates, and we've been targeting enterprises, and we've been fortunate enough to have attention of a lot of big companies that have organically come to us and asked us how we can solve their problems, which is great, because usually you have to market yourself, you have to go out there, talk to people, try to sell, and that's a very big hurdle to go through for any company. We were fortunate enough for these companies to contact us directly and actually bring that problem right to us at our doorstep, which was amazing. And we've now partnered with Worth Group, which is a Fortune 500 out of Europe. That's just one of the companies, and the other company is a Fortune 50, which hopefully will be announced soon, as long as the wording is cleared. I was supposed to have a meeting with them today, so let's see how that goes. But yeah, it's been great, and long run, we still have a long ways to go. We have a really ambitious roadmap, a lot of things still on the roadmap. We had launched our storage mainnet last year in December. We have over 550 nodes providing their idle capacity to the network in about 52 countries, so very distributed, and the Cyclone will help that even more. And we're going to enterprise compute, starting off with the compute small in enterprise area sector, and then branching out to public compute after that, and then GPU. And then we have plans of democratized AI, which will be optimizing the network as well. So there's a lot of things in the roadmap, and we're got a long ways to go, but we're happy that we're at the start line.
I really appreciate that historical context there, and it's getting me kind of really curious about what you've learned in your experience, trying to tackle this complicated problem. And you mentioned Ethereum, and you mentioned some of the bugs that it had from them moving fast and breaking things, and the worry of fees. And you look at why people use crypto. People use it for the fact that it's essentially a decentralized database of financial transactions, but there's trade-offs that come with that. And what I want to understand is when it comes to decentralized cloud computing, are there trade-offs when it comes to using cloud decentralized cloud computing? And then are there like niche services that companies want this type of computing for, or is it in competition with centralized cloud computing?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely some problems in the decentralized computing that currently are already solved. But obviously, centralized computing is much more performant and obviously much more scalable. Uh, that's one of the biggest problems in DePIN is scalability and performance. Because you're so distributed, you're kind of going to different locations or pinging different locations to get the data or the tasks that need to be done. So but at some scale, hopefully this problem will be solved with a Fortune 50 company where, when the scale is so large that the performance shouldn't be an issue because, you can go to the nearest available node operator and get whatever you need. Is much easier than, combining shards from different regions. That can still happen and depending on what your setup is as a user. But I think it slowly will get there. I think we're in the early phase of DePIN, and definitely we're not. There are some trade-offs, definitely, and then cost effectiveness is being one is much cheaper for distributed storage because you're using idle capacity of node operators that are providing it, and there's no upkeep for us directly, and we have the token incentive model, which provides a reward mechanism for the node operators, right? So it's easy for both parties to operate, and it's much more cost effective for users in that way. Also, it's much more secure and more privacy in terms of you have the uh, at least at Iagon, for you have access, you have access to your data as the access layer is on chain, which provides the layer one security of Cardano. And that gives you much more privacy in terms of your data is yours and yours alone. No one else can access it. Whereas centralized players can, have the centralized authority to access it if they want to. Which is also a trade-off for people that are not, let's say, want to have private storage and secure storage at the same time. The other thing is so I just named the scalability and the performance issues the main thing trade-offs for distributed storage.
Stephen, did I rug?
No, you're fine.
Okay. Well, I think that's, a really cool idea. The way that I'm understanding it is essentially your data is protected because your data is sharded and encrypted across multiple machines. And, I don't have the answer. I'm sure I will in a second, but I imagine that, you're essentially pulling together this sharded data onto your machine and then, signing with some keys of some sort. Is that right, Holger?
Yeah, that goes in the right direction. So basically, imagine even if like a single storage node or whatever gets compromised and the attacker would theoretically get the shard files, right, which are on this node. And then imagine, let's just speculate, the guy has like more resources than the NSA has, for decrypting, like tons of data centers which can run against the algorithm. And let's say, for God's sake, that there is even like an exploit for an encryption algorithm which would make it possible to even crack it, to even be able to decrypt it. Even if that would be the case, and the possibility that a comet is striking the Earth is much higher, So if that would be the case, so let's say the worst case scenario, even then the guy just has junk, data junk, it all the parts are missing.
That's really
You
cool.
just have a tiny snippet of something, and you cannot do anything with it.
Yeah, I definitely kind of have some more questions around that. Real quick, if anybody listening in, there's a bunch of people here. I think we have almost 100 people. If you guys have questions, I'm sure you have great ones. Click that little comment button in the right-hand corner. We'll be taking a look at all of those later, making sure you guys get your questions answered. It seems like it's going to be a very educational and informative space. So it will be more if you guys have some good questions. If you're enjoying the space so far, just throw an emoji in there or anything else to push it out there a little higher. To take that a little further, I'm seeing that, he mentioned that there's, some trade-offs, when it comes to using, which makes sense. That's how the world works. There's always trade-offs when there's benefits with something new and exciting. What type of applications would benefit most from using Iagon? And, we can you wait a little bit, or if, you want to take that one, Holger. I don't know if you can hear us, Doctor. I don't know if you're back yet, but we can't hear you.
Yeah,
I
so
can hear you.
then,
I don't know if you can hear me.
You're
yeah,
back.
we can hear you.
We can hear you.
So at the QN stage, it's more like a cold storage. And so obviously we are polishing the cold storage part and optimizing everything, and also developing the compute part, which is more like a hot storage, compute storage, right? So the if you would use it right now, it's more like a hot, like a cold storage. Like you can upload your static files, like your pictures, your family pictures. You want to have it in a safe place. You have scanned documents. If your house burns to the ground, probably your backup USB drive will burn to the ground as well. So you want to have it in a secure space, and probably you don't want to have that anyone else has access to it, like Microsoft, Google, they are analyzing data, if you upload it. Like let's I give you a crazy example with Microsoft. It was not published so much and was not spread too much, but it's a fact, probably a year old or maybe a little bit longer. So there is a company which is analyzing viruses and bad software, right? And internally, they were using Microsoft services and um, put a file together, an archive, like no, would easily say it's a zip or 4Z, 7Z file, whatever, and heavily encrypted it. You like military standard grade encryption, and uploaded it to Microsoft somewhere, right, where it's stored. And then what Microsoft did is like, because they are checking and reading metadata and all data basically, there was a different in within the same company. There was a person who was sending the password to someone else or in some document or something, but not attached at the same thing, just within the same company. And because Microsoft is reading all your content, they had all the passwords which were in the company and were running it against the encrypted files. And then they were able to decrypt it. And then the security detected there's a virus in it, and sent the same company a warning. So basically, that means if they would not decrypt it, they would not know that there is a virus in it and would warn them. So basically, Microsoft kind of fucked themselves, to showing like, oh yeah, we are gathering all your information, and then we try to open all your encrypted files with the information we have from you, and oh yeah, there's a virus, just so you know, right? So, and that is probably a thing, depending on what documents you have. You don't like that, you know, that maybe a big company is using your data and trying to do some funky stuff with your data, or, you know, knowing everything. And that is where things like Iagon comes into place, you know, because you are the only one who can decrypt stuff, you know, who has access to it and everything. So that is a huge, big plus.
Yeah, I don't know if you still hear me, but basically, I'll add to what Holger said, and this is obviously the initial in terms of cold storage. We have obviously going to have hot storage as well, database storage and things like that. That's coming out after a bit, but first we're going to work on the distributed compute, and then afterwards roll out these other offerings later. But we're targeting a lot of different use cases for sure, and there's so many use cases available for storage and compute. One of those use cases is, of course, the MVP with Worth Group, which will be securing and helping them monetizing 3D parts. So we'll be able to, for example, secure the blueprints of companies that want to print through Worth Group. For example, Mercedes, Porsche, GM, whoever that is, wanting to print a certain part and they want to monetize it somehow. And they only want a certain amount of prints allocated for that one specific print. They're able to send that file or share that file through, let's say, an NFT, and that NFT will be a certain allow only a certain amount of prints, and after that, it's deleted. So that's one use case, for example, that allows us to basically help Worth Group monetize 3D parts, 3D part printing, which is a whole new industry as well, right? So there's many other use cases as well. We can go deep down into it's kind of like a rabbit hole, but almost everything in the world requires, at this day and age, with this digital age, requires some type of storage and some type of compute.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. When did the protocol, go live? At this point, essentially anybody, can run a node on this protocol. What was the day that it went live?
December 25th, 2023.
Awesome. So it's we're definitely over the 1 year mark. What have you guys learned so far after watching the protocol be live and it operate in a mainnet environment, and how many people also have joined to be a part of that network and have computers running on it at this point?
I think Holger probably has the specific numbers in terms of the number of node operators, but I think it's over 550. Correct me if I'm wrong,
We
Holger.
have 573 node operators. We currently have
Yeah.
a total storage volume of close to 10 petabyte. So that's a lot.
Yeah, and we're first working on the scalability, I think the resource side. We're gonna obviously make sure that the product's functioning in terms of the offerings, and then focus on the marketing for onboarding consumers to the product. But we have, I think, around 100 subscribers, a little bit more than that, and 2 dApps running on Iagon, and I think over, I don't know how many websites running on Iagon as well.
That's awesome. You guys are actually making it happen. A lot of time it's just ideas in this industry. So I wanted to get to the failed DDoS attack. Could you kind of take us from the beginning? When did you guys recognize that somebody was trying to do a DDoS attack on Iagon?
Yeah, it basically started at the end of January, 31 of January, and it was pretty much ongoing for 24 hours, literally. We had peaks of from the DDoS attack of around 380 gigabit per second. That is a lot of volume, bandwise from that perspective. And we had peaks of 40 million packets per second. So that is, I would consider that a very decent DDoS attack. but they used like literally everything they could, you know. So it was like from around the planet. It was everything, every single resource you can imagine, from the type of attack resource, like IoT devices, obviously a bunch, you know, like botnets of IoT devices, and different compromised other things. And the funny thing is, funny in quote, they used every single attack vector they can, attack type, DOS type they can literally use. What we did, obviously there are a ton of methods where you can try to mitigate and start mitigating DDoS traffic. But what I like to do is just use this as an opportunity to learn about the different attack vectors. What are they targeting? How they are targeting it? So basically, it's like a, okay, they target this. Okay, let them target it for a while. You know, let's see what are they using as an attack. What kind of impact does it have on us, so that we can learn out of the bad situation for us to even improve. You know, to we can see like, okay, did they had a bad impact on it or not? You know, was it stable enough from how we set it up, or had it a bad impact? Is there room to improve? You know, so for that reason, we kind of half mitigated it, yeah, so to say. So give them a little playroom where they can keep going, and we can improve and learn about the attack vectors they use against us. So and that is why it dragged a little bit to the 24-hour mark, I would say, because they saw some success, quote unquote, you know, which was like a leveraged success from our perspective, that we said, okay, yeah, they can target that now they can target this part and that part, because we are so distributed and decentralized. They could not take off anything at all, you know, like not that this was wrong formulated, but they could not take offline everything, you know, because it's so distributed. And so we let them target only certain parts, you know, let's say like 40% of something, and then we switch to something else, you know. Obviously, for the end user experience, if you would open iagon.com at this moment, yeah, you know, maybe it loads, maybe it doesn't, you know, depending on where you are and so on. And so there were obviously from the outside world some interruptions, you know. Obviously also for node operators, depending on your region and the time you checked it, you know, if you checked it, it can be that your node shows as offline, can be that it shows as online, depending on the situation and region. So yeah, it was a crazy attack. Just so we have a comparison for the people, it was like on the maximum peak times, it has the, I mean, I need to be careful here, because you cannot compare each DDoS attack with a different DDoS attack. So if there's a different company, let's say Google, for example, they also suffered from a DDoS attack, which was like 2,500 gigabit. Yeah, so we got like 16% of that attack volume, basically, what Google did, you know, and they were not able to bring us fully down on purpose. So that is huge. And obviously then there are some people in the internet, and suddenly if in the moment that happened, suddenly everyone is a DDoS mitigation expert, right? Telling us what to do and how you can do things, and oh, that's easy peasy, you know. I saw a posting somewhere in the internet where someone said like, oh yeah, no, I mean, you can just use this device here, you can buy it on eBay for $5,000, you know, and it can handle millions of connections, you know. Yeah, okay, cool. So that basically means, like, if you take the same logic in comparison, if we got hit by 60% of the power, let's call it like this, what was used against Google, and they brought down Google, um, at this moment, that would basically mean like Google just buys like whatever, 6 of these things, right? So they pay like 30, 40,000 bucks, and everything is cool, right? Mitigated. But Google probably paid a few million, you know, for suffering this attack, you know. So that shows you that it's not like that easy, you know. And not every DOS attack is different. So they're basically like script kiddie attacks, you know, where you have like a botnet and you have a script and it just uses one pattern or uses one attack vector and has this in the size and comes from known IP addresses or regions or whatever. And yeah, that's easy peasy, you know. But if someone really puts some effort into the show, you know, it's a different story, because then it's I would not call it the attack methods and vectors are known, but how you combine them and what you target with that and how the target behaves makes a difference. So if we take it from this perspective, every DDoS attack which is professionally done is unique.
So you're suggesting they spent $30,000 or $40,000 to do this DDoS attack?
Oh, well, that was basically enough. Navjit came up with some numbers, I think. There obviously is a range of things what you can do. You can hire people, you know, to do bad things for you. You can do it yourself. Then you need a lot of experience and need to have hands on the resources, which goes more like in the criminal sector, you know, where people are controlling botnets and have access to a lot of compromised devices to get to this volume. So I would say it boils down to someone was spending money to hire that people, you know, to let them do it, or had access to that themselves, which I doubt, because I don't see that someone in this field has an interest in attacking us. So probably it was a hired scenario where you need to pay money, and yeah. I'm not so much into the up to date in darknet, you know, how much I would need to pay for that. So I don't know. But I think Navjit was running some numbers on that, just to give an example.
Well, somebody's
Yeah, I
scared of
think
Iagon.
it was range. It was a range between, I think, 100K to 900K. So it's a wide range, as Holger said. It's hard to determine exactly what was used. So, you know, and what kind of method was applied. So that's why the range is so big. But estimated between 100 to 900K.
And that's just such, that's such an expensive amount of money to pay. Like it's, you could imagine like, some people do, hacking or DDoSing for fun, right? And that's so much money and so much compute resources that, it's obvious that it wasn't for fun. This is like, to me, I'm purely speculating here, but there has to be some sort of like financial incentive to do this for them to justify spending at least $100,000 to, attack the network. Have you guys, it's probably not good to speculate, but have you guys speculated on that at all? Like, who would have, the incentive to even do something like this?
No, I did not, because what does it help, you know? From my perspective, and maybe Navjit has a different opinion there, but from my CTO tech perspective, for me it doesn't matter. You know, we learned a lot through this attack. You know, the next one will be even more harder. You know, so not to want to invite people to attack us again, but yeah.
Yeah, so Holger's being a little careful, but I mean, just to give you guys a view, like someone would require like a substantial amount of money and hardware to pull off this attack, right? So it has to be like Pei said, it has to be. It's hard to determine also who done it because it's done in a professional way. So you can only speculate on what kind of. First of all, they had to have the funding. It could be someone from the darknet, as Holger said, or hired gun, for example. It could be a competitor. It could be a state. It could be an investor that's looking into Iagon, even though this is all illegal and unethical. Sometimes it happens where investors also do this if they have interest in a certain project, just to see if it can withstand the attack, for example. But there's different way. There's probably a lot more options, and probably just giving you a few.
I don't see the investor partner thing. I mean, obviously, maybe there is maybe some investor we are not aware of, right? That could be a thing, maybe, as you said. I don't see the state level thing. I would not know the incentive. Why would they do that? Yeah.
So
And
since
just one thing to add, maybe that's interesting. So obviously we let them to some degree target some stuff and analyzing things on the fly, what they use and so on. And after pretty much 24 hours, I said, okay, we learned enough, and now we mitigate everything. We basically turned on the, okay, now we mitigate everything, switch, if I can say it in this direction. And then basically we were and I posted this, I think, and I was awake for 30 hours at this moment. And I said, okay, now we are mitigating the attack by 100% at a rate of 100%. So everything is 100% operational, even if the attack is ongoing. And 20 minutes after that, they stopped the attack fully because they saw like, okay, it's fucking useless what we are doing.
So, given the complexity of the attack that they did, that it's a professional job, I'm wondering as well, did you do the mitigation all in-house? Because there's a whole industry of companies that assist projects in mitigating attacks like this. So did you mitigate this attack on your own, or do you have external companies that help you in this?
Oh, we used everything what is possible. So I cannot go and I will not go into details. So we used normal scrubbing stuff from tier 1 and also our in-house stuff. And since we also run our own infrastructure, data center stuff, so we can do things pretty much ourselves on top of scrubbing and whatever other methods. What we did not do is black holing, for example. I dislike to redirect or reroute traffic against the wall. So that is just dead. Yeah. So my goal was like stay online as much as possible, see where it goes, analyze it, learn from it, check where weak spots in the system, which need and can be changed, and that's it.
Well, it's good to know that you learned a lot, since if they targeted multiple avenues within your infrastructure, it's always good to have a stress test of all your systems, not just the front end, not just your website, but yeah, having your entire infrastructure tested.
Yeah, I need to also maybe add that I was surprised how stable we were, based on the size of the DDoS attack and the the time frame. It's crazy. Close to 24 hours is crazy.
I mean, just like even imagining 400 gigabytes a second is just nuts. Like that's just so much data being written.
Gigabit. Yeah, it's a lot of
Yeah. So for
gigabit. It's very important to say gigabit here. Otherwise, it would be ridiculous.
okay, for anybody just tuning
But yeah,
in,
good.
if you have any questions, feel free to come on up. We're opening it up. You can also comment them down below, but you can also just request speaker and come on up. Feel free. If you guys are enjoying the space so far, also click the comment section in the bottom right hand corner and let us know. We appreciate you both of you being here. And honestly, I'm bullish on the Iagon tech team. After hearing this story, having that much, data being written and then, being able to handle it all. It's an incredible story, one that I don't think I would forget if I was on that tech team while the DDoS was happening.
Yeah, I was happy when I was able to get some rest after that. I mean, I'm not sure if the most people don't only know Navjit's post, not my post. And I think if I may, read it real quick. My post ended. I made a statement what was going on and so on, and I just read this one from the second part. By the time of writing this, the DDoS attack is still ongoing, but my methods are able to mitigate the attacks by a rate of 100%. So, dear attacker, nice try. Go fuck yourself. Will never bring Iagon down. Peace out. Now I'm going to die. Fuck my life, and that's it. so, no, yeah.
That's pretty fair for 30 hours, I think. I think you were on the nice side, actually.
Yeah,
So
obviously
we have
that would be a marketing statement like Navjit would prefer, but this is just the raw reality from a tech perspective.
I think you dropped it in the node operators group. That's why.
Yeah, exactly. And I just wanted to inform the node operators at this moment. Yeah, because the other people did not saw so many impact. Maybe open the Icon site and like, oh, it's slow. Why it's not loading? Oh, now it's loads. So yeah.
So real quick before we
So-
get into the first question, I wanted to announce that we have a vote going on right now. There's going to be 50 different single stake pool operators that are going to be in the first staking basket ever launched on Cardano, and you can vote on them with your ADA right now. You just go to vote.atrium.io, you pick your favorite SPOs, and we're going to be launching Atrium mainnet this year, and we're going to be bringing millions of ADA to single stake pool operators, and you get to choose those stake pools with your ADA right now. The vote is ending in just a few days. So make sure you get on vote.atrium.io. We also have an incentivized testnet right now where you can go in, mint a profile, start leveling up from doing the things you already do on Discord, Twitter, and on chain. So make sure you guys check that out. CK Cardano, I appreciate you coming up, my friend. What question do you have for us today?
May I squeeze in real quick and chill my ass for 1 second? Because I'm on this list. If you go to category number 4, and you may vote for pool ADA, ticker ADA. I would really highly appreciate, support me, support the thing at all. Yeah, okay. Now I'm quiet now.
Amen, brother. Hey, Pay, thank you so much, man, for having me up. I just finished a long, awesome space, just vibing with the community out here. We were talking markets and blockchain and whatnot, and I have been such a huge fan of Navjit, of Holger, of Iagon, of what they're building, and also Atrium. That was another topic of discussion. I'm really, really excited for what Atrium's bringing to not only Cardano but crypto in general in the social platforms, social media, education, all that. I just wanted to give a big shout out to Holger. What you just shared with us, that post after you successfully stopped that DDoS attack, bro. I read that shit and I loved it, man. Like that felt like straight from the heart. The castle was defended. What like Pei was saying, man, this is so bullish. I think it is a perfectly beautiful demonstration of the level that Iagon is operating at, what the product and service that is being brought to market, differentiating Iagon not only for its cost effectiveness as an alternative to Amazon Web Service, Apple, Google, all these major players, but thank you so much for showcasing what Cardano and the community is capable of. This is awesome. And as Navjit was saying, if I was a partner looking to get involved with a company and with what Iagon's building and bringing to the space, I would be exceptionally encouraged by the events that unfolded and the robustness of what Iagon and your team is doing. So I'm super tired. Please forgive me for having a real lack of eloquence at the moment, but I saw the space was running. I just wanted to give a shout out to you guys because I was so impressed. I actually was talking with Charles. He rolled through a space and I was like, man, did you see what Iagon just got done proving? So I'm proud. I'm a big fan of what you guys are doing. Big supporter. Please do stake, delegate to Holger, the team. Show up for Iagon. Please also pre-order your Cyclones. My understanding is the window for pre-ordering the hardware that Iagon's bringing to market is closing rapidly. That'll allow you to participate in the physical infrastructure for Iagon. And I also hear they're talking about developing some sort of plug and play capability to be a stake pool operator for Cardano as well. And I'm sure many other things to come. So thanks again for having me up, Big Pay. Shout out to you, Dr. Navjeet. Let's go, brother. Holger, you are a legend, man. Keep doing what you do. And let's go, guys. Have an awesome Wednesday. And sip these dips. These are discounts in the market. We're looking at psychology, guys. It's going to be an awesome 2025, and Cardano's going to win.
And vote.atrium.io on your favorite SPOs. So I had to keep the energy up.
Yeah, thank you for the feedback.
Awesome energy. Thank you.
I appreciate.
Yeah,
Love the energy.
Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. If you guys have another response, I'll let you go. But I do have a pretty good question that someone left in the comments. Do you have something you wanted to say real quick before we get to the question?
Oh, I just wanted to thank him, and that's awesome when you hear so much energy, someone talking with so much passion. It's awesome to hear it, to be honest, and we need more of that.
Yeah, we definitely do, and it's great to see it. That energy is probably in the comment section. They're just not requesting speaker and coming on up. So feel free, guys.
Yeah, it's also cool from a tech perspective if you get some feedback like this, because for me it's like always more like behind the scenes thing. I mean, I do a lot also in the Cardano ecosystem since it is alive, and yeah, I'm not so vocal about it, but I really appreciate if I get some positive feedback.
Well, often our tech guys are like our unsung heroes, in crypto, and they don't always get the energy that maybe the front man for a company will get. So I definitely feel you there, Holger. Someone asked, would you ever considering incorporating in the U.S. if crypto regulations made it profitable to do so? That's the first question.
I mean, yeah, sure. But right now, I think that depends on how stable the political situation is in the U.S. Because you never know, one party wins and another party wins, and they cancel all the things that the other party did. So it feels like there needs to be more stability for that decision to be made. But definitely, like USA is a big industry, and obviously there's a lot of buying power there. One of the reasons why we filed our initial patent through the US, right? So I think that it's important to cater to that commercially, to that side. But obviously there needs to be much more stability for us to consider incorporating there.
Yeah, I think that's a very fair point. We did just have a change in administration and what seems to be, a change in the way they view crypto in the United States. But we definitely need some more stuff on paper, before you get making huge decisions that kind of change the course of the future. And you're right. A new administration can very easily just get rid of everything the last administration did, and that's actually what we saw with the past two administrations, just kind of removing as much as they could right in the beginning. So I appreciate the question. Let me give him a shout out. It was Logan Square. So I appreciate that question. Got some new replies coming in.
Just a small question in between. Do you have an idea when the Cyclone deliveries will start?
They're planned for March, so March is when we're going to be starting shipping them out. And it's worldwide shipping, so it'll differ from where you live in terms of when it arrives. But we'll be shipping out then.
Oh, that's quite soon already. Nice. Excellent. Peyton, I don't know if you have any more questions in the comments. If not, then maybe you can comment shortly on what's to come for Iagon in 2025. I think compute is coming and staking. So if you could give some information on that, I think everyone would appreciate it.
Yeah, so delegated staking is coming up this week, actually. So we have tested it thoroughly. We've done an audit with Vacuum Labs, and we're doing a secondary audit with TX Pipe. It's not pending the second audit. The second audit is going to be released after the delegated staking is released. So we're on the final legs there. What that will allow is, we took Cardano's inspiration there and applied it to Iagon. Basically, token holders can delegate their a bit different. It's not fully let's say liquid like Cardano is, but it's locked but liquid. So it's a rolling locked for 3 months, just like our node operators. The reason why we have a lock mechanism is more so to provide a constant amount of storage to the end users, because if there's unstaking and liquid staking, it provides an uneven service for our use case. So there has to be some kind of lock mechanism. So token holders can delegate to other node operators to increase the capacity of the node. So let's say a node operator has 100 petabytes of data and only enough tokens for 1 petabyte. He or she can provide that one petabyte of tokens, and the rest that it can ask for the community to delegate to them to provide the rest of the storage. So it's a great way to expand our network and scale our solution. And this is also for Cyclone. So if one Cyclone comes and you don't have to fully do it yourself, you can ask for delegation in the community, just like in the Cardano community. So it's great that we take this kind of initiative. It's going to be a first in Cardano. We haven't seen this type of model in Cardano in terms of CNTs. So it's going to be very exciting to see how it works. Also, the delegated stake or the stake will be liquid per se, quote unquote, if you want to call it that. You can sell your position or your locked position to someone else that's willing to take over the locked position. So the tokens remain locked, but someone wants to liquidate early and wants to exit the position early can do so without affecting the network, and the other person can get in at possibly a smaller margin, lesser than the market fee, basically. So that's delegated staking. We have enterprise compute coming out this month. We already have one client signed. Well, not technically not signed, but pretty much confirmed. So it'll be launched with a client, and eventually we'll expand that enterprise compute and go into public compute. There's a lot more on the roadmap. I want to keep it a little bit on the short side. And we have Worth Group, we have the pilot. So there's a lot of things going on for sure.
Damien, what do you have for us today?
Yeah. What's up, Big Bay? Nice meeting you, Argentina. Thanks for having me on stage. I got a question about. First off, good job, Iagon. Of course, everybody's praising you for the job you did with the mitigation of the DDoS. So that's first. And second, a little bit about the staking, right? Because I got some ideas. I started my own stake pool, and I got some ideas for supplying staking of Iagon token to my node. Am I able to put different fees on different people that want to stake with me? So, for example, if I got, no, I'm not going to say what I'm going to do, but is that possible?
So it's going to be a general margin fee, just like Cardano pools. So depending on what you want to earn from the pool and what you believe your fee should be, the other is going to be distributed to your basically delegators, right? So it's the
Okay.
standard kind of margin.
Okay.
This much percentage goes to you, this much percentage goes to the
Yeah.
delegators, and you decide what that is.
And that's per node, right? So if I got two nodes, I can put one fee
Per
on the
node.
one node. Okay. Then it's
Yeah,
possible.
correct. Yeah. You can gate your nodes in a way, so you can gate it as well. So if you have a certain requirement, for example, you have to hold, let's say, Atrium or something, you have to hold
Exactly. Yeah.
Atrium, and you can only enter and delegate to the pool if you hold this much amount of Atrium.
Or can I also put in like, for example, you have to stake to my stake pool a certain amount, and they get all the rewards, something like that.
So they do. We don't have that specific case. It could be something that we think about, but right now it's just more so for token policies and NFT policies.
Oh, then I can create my own NFT and then I'll put a policy on it. Okay,
Correct. You can distribute an NFT to
yeah,
your delegators
yeah,
and just give it to them.
All right, thank you. Those were the questions.
Thank you so much, Damien. I appreciate you coming in here and asking some more insider questions. Questions from community members. We love to see it. We're hitting the 1 p.m. mark. We host these spaces every Wednesday at 11 a.m. EST. That's 16 UTC. Every Wednesday, you can come find us. You can come learn some more about Cardano from your favorite projects. Space just like this one. The one last week, we had Nicholas on from the Cardano Foundation. That one was a banger, if I can say so myself. You learn everything you need to know about governance, everything that you may have missed in the past few months. You go click that one, you listen to it while you're doing your jog in the morning or you're sitting in the sauna. That's the space. And, we're going to keep pushing these out every Wednesday. So we appreciate you guys all being here. I wanted to say, give Holger and the doctor here a chance, for some closing thoughts, maybe anything that we missed, but we're going to be closing here today.
I found one more question in the comments, Peyton. I think it's a short one. If a node provider was ever compromised, would there be any complications with the original file owner to access their full file?
Yeah, so we have something called random masking algorithm. So how that works is we shard the data is sharded and distributed to the node subset of nodes that you select. So depending on what you select in terms of performance, location, and whatnot, and there's an ECC error correcting code added to the file, so you can actually eventually be able to edit the size of that error correcting code to as whatever you want. But we've tested it, and you're able to actually recover the file even if 57% of the shards are missing. But remember that you're selecting a subset of nodes. So if you select high performance and high availability, the likelihood of one of these nodes being down is very, very low. And even if they're down, you have that mechanism built in. Hope that answered it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, sorry. So yeah, I think we can close it out for today. If you guys have any more comments or just let us know, and then if not, then we'll close out the space.
I just wanted to, maybe Holger wants to go first, and then I can end.
Oh yeah, I just want to give talking about bangers. I want to give a shout out to Cardano Foundation because they're eating a lot of shit recently for whatever reason, and I think the people who jump on this topic, and are not aware of what they are doing. Cardano Foundation has improved in the last 2 years dramatically. So shout out to Cardano Foundation at this point. I'm a fan here. Of where it goes. No, you don't like me anymore, but it's okay.
I want to give a shout out to Pei and Atrium for having us here, first of all, and also shout out to the community. I also wanted to take this time to give a big shout out to the Cardano community, the Iagon community. The last few days they've really come to show. To be honest, it's awesome how everyone gets together and really helps each other out in some ways. And I think that it's important to recognize, especially for example on X, you see it a lot. I'm not sure if you see it on any other platform, but on X, we always show up, and it's awesome to see, especially when, for example, Kraken had a question. One of the Kraken listing BDs had a question, and everyone reached out. A lot of engagement, and just wanted you guys to keep that up, keep showing up. Cardano's coming, Iagon is coming. There's a lot to show. We got big things planned, so looking forward to it.
I wanted to say thank you to Holger for being a part of the incentivized testnet that we ran, testing staking baskets out for the first time. Big thank you to all the other SPOs in there. We had, 51 off the top of my head SPOs that showed up and ran nodes for the testnet. The vote's happening right now. So, make sure you guys show up there. And thank you, Steven, Beata, for being there, from day one as well, running a node. And, hopefully both of you guys make it into Fusion. But thank you for the space today, everybody. Good luck, SPOs. The vote's coming to a close soon. Make sure you guys get people out there voting for you. and I'm excited. Atrium mainnet's well on its way. We're closing up stuff lately, and it's good time, exciting times for everybody. Thank you, Holger, for being here. It's always nice to see you, and it was great to meet you, Doctor. And thanks for your question, Damon and Stephen.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah,
Take care and
thank
stay
you
healthy,
for thank you for joining, everyone. As Peyton mentioned, make sure to tune in next week. We're doing this every Wednesday at 1600 hours UTC. See you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye, everyone.